Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Tech Tuesday, presented by Delta Media Group, where we're pretty sure that Snow White knew what that apple was all about, and she was just tired of cleaning up after dwarves all the time. So today, we're going to take a look at the lead routing settings and kind of lead notification settings that are available to agents in the DeltaNet. There's a lot on that page, so we'll just kind of run down the page and see all the different things that are on there. Some things, more than others, pertain to the actual routing and notification of leads, but it's good to know what's on that page and what all's available to you there also. So let's jump into the DeltaNet and take a look. So here we are on the starting page, or actually the dashboard page in this case. And to get to your lead settings, we're going to go down to Leads and Settings. Now from here, we have an admin setting up at the top. That's only going to appear to admins. But the next setting available here determines your broadcast availability. So as an agent, this allows you to go in and remove yourself from the broadcast lead pool if your company is broadcasting out leads. And as it says here, the idea is that this would be best for, like a vacation rule. So, if you're going to be on vacation for, a week or so, you can go in here and opt yourself out of the broadcast lead pool. That way, no broadcast leads come to you if they're not going to get handled while you're, out of town or on vacation. Next, we have the text shortcode system. This is only available to specific agent accounts depending on what the company has subscribed to. What this does, if it is available, is it allows you to set up some shortcodes that, if texted to a specific number, will send the customer back a text message with certain information on it. So, list, if a customer texts whatever code you put in here, so you can actually define what the code is, but if you put a code in here that says my listings, but you'd want something more specific to you. But the idea is if a customer then texts that to this 79842 number, they'll get back a text message automatically that will show them a listing detail page, or really a map page, with all the listings that are closest to their location. So they have to turn location services on their phone, but the idea is they'll text that message, they'll get back a URL, and then when they click on it, it's going to load up a map search and ask them to give them location privileges, and then it will center the map on their location so that they can see the listings closest to them. Now the next one here is a detail page. So what this will do is if they text whatever you put here to 79842, it will send them back a link to the listing detail page for the listing that's closest to them. The idea is that, if they're standing in the front yard of a listing and they want more information on it, they can just text whatever code you put here to this number, and then they'll get back a link to the detail page that gives them all the details about that listing. And then lastly, open house is a lot like the first one, only it shows them all the open houses around them instead of just all the listings around them. But it's the same deal. They text whatever code you put here, they get back a text with a link, and they click on it, and then it shows them the map with all the open houses closest to them. And to set this up, you just go through here, type in what you want your code to be, and that's what it is that they will send to that shortcode number. And then you hit Save Preferences, and that'll save your settings here. Now, you can also use this setting to allow the system to notify you if someone does use this text message code and the code returns a link to one of your listings, which would mean they were closest to one of your listings when they used the shortcode. And then you can determine how it is that this thing notifies you. So either never, or it can send you an email, a text, or it can send you both. So there's your text shortcodes. I realize that has nothing to do with lead setting, or lead routing rather, but it is part of the lead settings. Next is your zip code settings. So if your company does use zip codes for lead routing when they send out broadcast leads, this section will be available to you where you can go in and define what zip codes you cover. It's up to the company as to whether you can just see this field or whether you can also define those zip codes. Minimum listing price settings allow you to determine a minimum price for listings that will be broadcast to you. So the idea here is, if you only want to receive broadcast leads for listings that are over 100,000, for example, you could put 100,000 here, or rather you might do like 99,999. That way you get everything 100,000 and up. But what this basically does is, it doesn't guarantee you'll get everything over that price range, but it prevents you from getting anything under that price range. We just advise you to be kind of careful with this setting because the idea is you could have a customer that comes in and makes a request not on a specific property. Maybe they just save a search. that would go out in the broadcast system. Because there's no listing on it, there'd be no price, and that opportunity wouldn't go to you. When in reality, maybe they ran a search for $500,000 listings, and you wouldn't know it and wouldn't get the opportunity for it because there was no price on the request that they made. But the setting is available to you. And the next thing you can do here is exactly the same thing, but for rental listings specifically. So if someone makes a request on a rental listing, it has to be over whatever this price is in order for that opportunity to have a chance of going to you. Your next setting allows you to be carbon copied on all of the home finder emails that go out to your customers. So these are the saved search emails. So whenever a customer saves a search and that customer is assigned to you as one of your leads, whenever that saved search email goes to them, if you have this box checked, it will also copy you on that email. It's good to stay informed as long as you have those emails going out to your customers. At the same time, if you have a lot of customers with a lot of saved searches, this could get a little overwhelming. So you have the opportunity to turn it on or off, whichever makes most sense for you. This is the same setting for MarketWatch Reports. So any customer that has MarketWatch Reports set up that's assigned to you, if this box is checked, all those MarketWatch Reports will be carbon copied and sent to you also. And the AVM door knock requests. So if the AVM system is turned on at the company level and you want to turn that on your website, you can create your AVM page. And that's like a My Home Value page. So there could be a page on your individual website that customers can go to, put in their address, and get back a valuation. By default, if they go and fill in an address, it'll create a door knock opportunity lead for you. So it doesn't have any contact information on it beyond just the physical address, and it'll create a lead with just that physical address. And the idea is you can set that up for physical mailings, set up flyers and mail it out to those addresses and things if you'd like. If you don't want those leads, so if you don't want it to create those leads and really only create a lead if the customer provides contact information, you can just check this box and save that setting. And then those leads will no longer be created. Now next, one of the more important settings on this page is the email SMS settings. For lead notices, you can choose the type of email that goes out. Generally, HTML with link is the way you want to go there. You have some other options. If you're having deliverability trouble with getting your lead notices, you could switch these to text only. Sometimes those have an easier time getting through than the HTML-based emails, but 99% of the time, HTML with link works out just fine. And then with send lead notices to, you can use this field to define either a single email address that differs from your public email address, where you'd like to receive all your lead notices, or if you have multiple email addresses that you'd like your lead notices to go to, you can put those in here and just separate those by commas. There we go. So the idea would be you could just type out email addresses, separate them by commas, and then instead of the lead notices going to your public email address set up on your overviews page, they'll go to these addresses. And then you can also put your public email address in here in the list too if you want it to get those emails in addition to the email addresses you put here. This is most useful for teams, or if you have if you have an assistant or someone that works in the office that handles a lot of your leads, things like that, you can have them notified of all the leads that come in and are assigned to you also. That way they're not just going to you. Now next, you can customize the lead signature that appears at the bottom of the emails that go out to customers on your behalf. And this is just a regular WYSIWYG editor, so you have some formatting options here. You can customize the text however you'd like. And then if you have any social media URLs entered on your overviews page, you can grab those from over here and insert links to them anywhere in your signature. So that is kind of handy there and allows you to keep that customized. You can choose whether or not you want to convert the social links into icons. So you can see the WYSIWYG editor kind of handled that automatically. But you can choose here if you don't want to convert those. So it'll just display out the whole URL of your page, of your social media page. And then next, if you're on the upgrade package, you can add a phone number in here that will allow you to get text messages whenever you get a lead notification as well. So in here, you just enter your phone number. You can also add multiple numbers in here. So kind of the same as the email addresses. If you have multiple people that you want your lead notices to go to, you can put in more than one phone number. And then you just type out the phone number and then hit save up here. And that'll save that section and save those settings. Now, email form options. This lets you control some of the different forms on your website. So specifically the contact form and the contact and showing request forms on the listing detail pages, you can choose whether or not those require phone numbers. So that's what all these checkboxes do. And it's separated by form type, so you don't have to include it on all or none. You can actually choose by the different type of form. The backup agent system allows you to define your backup agents, and you can see there's information here at the top that gives you a little detail about how this system works. But the idea is if it's turned on at the company, when a lead goes to you, or a broadcast lead is assigned to you, or even just a lead goes to you directly and it's assigned to you, if you define a backup agent in here, it'll give you a certain amount of time to process the lead, and then if you haven't processed the lead within that amount of time, it'll give the opportunity to whoever your backup agent is and allow them to process it on your behalf. And the idea would be, if you're working on a team or working with someone else, or you just have some office staff to go in that have accounts in here, you could have them go in and process the lead. Or if you're going to be, out of town for a short amount of time or on vacation, anything like that. But the whole idea is the customer doesn't have to wait to get a response. So, if you're not able to get to it in 15 minutes, someone can go ahead and process it for you. You'll still have access to the lead. It's still your lead. It just lets them process it for you. Or give them, initially contact them is what I mean by processing. Now next, you can choose to share your leads, and you can either share your unprocessed leads, your processed leads, or both. The way this works is unprocessed leads is kind of similar to backup agents. So if I'm sharing my unprocessed leads, it'll send me a notice when when a lead comes in, it's assigned to me, and then any user I set up who I'm sharing my unprocessed leads with will be able to go in and process that lead on my behalf. Once they process it, if I'm only sharing unprocessed leads, they'll no longer see that lead because now it's a processed lead. Now, if I'm also sharing my processed leads, they'll be able to see all of my processed leads as well. And if I'm sharing both, when a new lead comes in, they'll be able to see all those. Now, they can't really market to them. They can't send e-cards and email blasts and things to them, but they can see those leads and get to the profile pages for them to see their contact information and correspond with them. The next thing we have here, My Portfolio and Home Finder leads. These refer to leads where a customer comes into your website and they just create an account, or they just save a search or save a listing, but they don't actually ask for information from a contact form, and they don't ask for a showing, they don't ask for information on a listing, they've just created an account. With these settings, I can choose whether or not I want those to be counted as leads that I need to go in and process. So with these unchecked, that means if someone just goes in and makes an account, it's not actually going to come in as an unprocessed lead and I don't have to go in and respond to them. It'll still create their account, and that account will still be assigned to me, but it won't actually bring in a lead that I need to respond to unless they ask for information or ask for a showing on a listing. So if you check these, it'll create leads for those that just made accounts. Unchecked, it will not create those leads. There we are. Now, My Portfolio and Save Search, Save Listing Notification. What this will do is anytime a customer goes in and they make changes to a saved search or they save a listing, this will notify me if I have these boxes checked. If I don't, then I won't get those notifications. Again, this is very similar to being carbon copied on the Save Search emails or the MarketWatch emails. The idea here is it's good to stay informed on everything that your customers are doing or everything that those assigned to you are doing, but at the same time, if you have a lot and there's a lot of changing of saved searches, a lot of listings being saved, this can result in a lot of emails. So you just have to decide what works best for you there. Mortgage lead assignment. If the company has the mortgage lead system on and they do have mortgage brokers added, this allows you to select a mortgage broker that you want to work with. And really, you're not even working with them directly. The idea is if I select a mortgage broker here, again, assuming everything at the company side is turned on, and a customer goes to my website and they make a request on a detail page, the system can automatically make a mortgage request and send it to the mortgage broker, either that the company has selected or that I have selected here if I've selected one. And then lastly, this is the newest piece that's been added to this page. This allows you to customize the labels that you can attach to customers. So here you see the pipeline manager labels are down here at the bottom. So if the company has the pipeline manager turned on, these are the labels that they've defined that are considered phases within the sales pipeline. So these are the ones that you would use to show up in your pipeline manager funnel. Now up here, these are the ones that would be custom to you. So if you want to create your own labels, and you can actually have multiple labels attached to a customer. So for example, you have a qualified customer You mark them as qualified, so they show up there in the pipeline. But then you also have, you consider them a pending buyer, and that's one of your custom labels. You can attach both those labels to that customer. And this is just a way of keeping customers organized as far as the customizable portion of this goes. And the rest is about keeping track of where all the customers are in your sales pipeline. And then where you are as far as overall goals and overall sales goals for the year go. So there you go. We've made it. It was a little hard one, but we made it through the through the agent side lead settings. So as always, thanks a lot for joining me. If you have any questions, concerns about this, the lead settings, or anything else, feel free to send us an email at support@deltagroup.com or give us a call. You can also comment on any of our videos on Facebook or YouTube, and we try to get back to you very promptly on those comments. Also, if you have suggestions for videos or there's anything you want more information on, feel free to make a suggestion in those comments as well. So, thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you again next week.